Greetings, Chromatic Warrior. Stay a while and listen. Maybe prop up those muddy boots next to that burning pile of corpses. Dry 'em out a bit. It seems like only yesterday I was painting the poor bloody infantry. Much like the bicycle, I feel as time goes on, the battlefront will always have a need for weak-ass dudes in paper-thin clothing. I started my path as a trader. I'll leave it up to you to guess where I am on the path right now, but I can remember an early effort involving trader Imperial Guardsmen. Man, I thought that these models were perfect. I didn't do much to modify them besides adding a little bit of smoke to the flamethrower in the form of steel wool and adding a banner in place of a mace on the one trooper. This was in my, I still paint in a very desaturated way, but this was heavy in the days of desaturation. But time would move forward, and I thought about changing my traitorous ways, but I could not because I had a student. It was the indoor times. The year was 2020, and yeah, after collaborating with a student, we decided to paint up an Imperial Guardsman. I had more of these Trader Guard handy, and I'm starting to get more close to a natural good guy look with this OD green outfit, but yes, he still has the stylish, spiky yellow armor, much like the Green Bay Packers, who could use some spikes. Titletown legends aside, the Packers would continue to win, and I would get more chances to paint Imperial Guard. The official release of the new Imperial Guard. Now I've moved away from the farm and COVID is over. But yeah, we have a refresh of the Imperial Guard line. I get my hands on the Army box set. Inside of it, there's a codex. And as I'm browsing through, thinking, what I can do this week, how can I kind of celebrate the Guard on a single figure, I came across this paint job in the codex that I thought was rather funky. It had that cool kind of industrial with a hint of fanny pack, a touch of cautionary tones. It looked otherworldly. So away I went, and another highlight on that piece is the blood-filled boot prints. So yeah, those are a few guys on separate bases, but what can I do with 6 guys on one base? Later on in the times, I think I went to an Adepticon and I got my hands on this special edition Commissar, and the mood was right to create this piece, kind of symbolizing the Commissar as the pillar of stoicism and command amongst the tide of battle. I titled this piece, "In Battle There Is No Law." And yes, that is a bolt thrower reference. And also, yes, it was inspired by the work of Frank Frazetta. There is a colder influence going across that rear rank "Oh dudes." And yeah, much like Frazetta's blue leg, using some temperature to add on to the distance and submersion of the rear rank. Mission accomplished. Present day, I once again find myself surrounded by weak-ass dudes in paper-thin clothing, but I have a plastic Prussian army all prepared, thanks to Archon Studios and the Trench Crusade gang. Is it a gang that runs? Is Mike Frankia and Tomas are they in a gang? Maybe more of a war band. But with each war fighter, the mission is to do different, right? Asymmetrical warfare wins the day. And looking back, what have I learned and what can I do differently? How can I make this fun for myself is always the question. So what I got besides the Prussians, well, I also have a set of historical paints from the Army Painter, authenticated by Stephen Bull. The World War II Soviet set. It's a lovely array of greens and browns, but also you get some blue and some red. I also am in possession of a single sponge. I was gifted one at Adepticon. Thank you to Jake from the Build Paint Play YouTube show. Now apparently you can buy more sponges and people are just using these and just throwing them into the landfill after they're wet. Maybe I'll go buy some more, but I'm going to give it a go with the sponge painting. I've seen a lot about it on the web. Oh, and what else do I have? The imagination, my friend, right here behind the calcified pineal gland. Oh yeah, I was looking around online, searching for some sources of inspiration and reference, and happened across this lovely piece of art from gang member Mike Frankia himself. And I think all of these colors are contained inside of this Soviet color box. And I also really do appreciate the dashing lieutenant in the dark blue tones. This gave me some ideas when you're painting up, an army or a war band. Variations on a theme is the overriding moral. How can I make the troops look like they are cohesive, belonging together, yet create differentiations among them? This piece inspires me. Test model away. I have some questions to answer for myself as I'm working on this Stosstroopin figurine. I'd like to add that he is armed with a tank splitter sword as well. How do I make mud yet break the dirt? This piece could quickly just turn into a murky muck, and although I like the monochromatic feeling, I think that's very military, I also like to add that little hint of industrial, that little touch of fanny pack. I need to break up all of that dirt or it's just not going to be good looking to me. So I'm glad I can add those little dashes of red in there. I think there's an argument to be made for blue bricks. It is an alternate timeline, maybe there are blue bricks somewhere out there. There's a potential hazard of a brown model being mounted on a brown base, but I think through contrast, I can be satisfied by just making the base much, much darker than the boots. I'll have a good level of separation without making things look too bogus. Using the sponge was very fun. I found that going back, just like with regular painting and adding successive layers, gave you a gradated result just through saturation. But yeah, I really like that sort of hand-pounded, it definitely communicates a different kind of texture, and that synergized really well with the anti-zenithal underspray. On this model, I was just mixing the military shade and the black tone together, spraying that from a controlled angle, unifying all of the shadows. It's such a good feeling. But yeah, that was a point of curiosity to see how these two approaches would overlap. Stripes and numbers. Know them well. I don't think I want to illustrate tiny numbers on all of these guys. I might use decals or something, but what I settled on was to paint a red stripe down the middle of the helmet on all the Stosstroopin. I'll leave this off on the Yeoman, and as you ascend the ranks and become an officer, I'll start including more blue items of clothing, and then I think the lieutenant, maybe I'll make the chest eagle on his armor a brass or a gold tone, adding a little more gold and black onto the officers as you rise. Sniper Priest, he's going to be doing his own thing. I've got big ideas for him. It kind of actually calls to mind images of the History Man from that Furiosa movie. But yeah, he's got the big cloak, writing all over it. Perfect. Rust in the dirt, vomit on the ground. I wanted it to see how these special effects paints would synergize with the rest of the effects and colors on the model. I don't like the rust on the ground. I think I could add a little bit onto the weaponry, but they're not going to be running around with overly rusted weapons necessarily. You know, they're living soldiers. They're going to take care of their equipment. And the oozing vomit is a nice thought. I left space for mud puddles by leaving flat spaces on their bases. But the tone is wrong. I think what I want to do is take some gloss medium, add a little bit of this Tello Greca ochre into it, and create a much lighter puddle just filled with sediment. You know, a recent memory when I was traveling around in Quebec City, it was raining, and I remember crossing this gravel parking lot as we were leaving this historic church, and yeah, just observing the cloudy and lightly colored mud puddles. Games as well, the motivation behind this army, it's being created as part of the arena of escalation. There'll be more about this on the Army Painters blog section, but the factory team, as well as other creatives within the Trench Crusade space, we're all painting up new forces, and we have status updates to be checking in on, meeting painting goals, which I think is really fun to share because it's something you can, you know, mimic in your own life, just having basically a monthly painting goal, but it's cool to be doing it as a group and, you know, under this unified purpose. We aren't under a requirement to play games. There are some people, you know, are closer to HQ that they're going to be having to play in tournaments and all of that. I say having to, they get to, but I will be sure to get as many games in as I can. I'll be playing at TMX, I'll be playing Uncle Adam, and yeah, just seeing what I can scrounge up at various events. Very motivating. I hope you enjoyed the layout of this video. I wanted to highlight some of these models from the past, even though they're not from the same game. A lot of the same ideas are being developed and applied to this new group of models. And as I was painting along, I did take hard notes on all of the footage. I've got it written in my little leather book. So I'll have a detailed tutorial on painting up my Trench Crusade faction, but also I will be pulling out the high points. I've got one model with the flamethrower. We've got the preacher with the scrawlings all over his coat. You know, any of these smaller, unique details. I think most of the painting is covered on that dashing lieutenant, but anything that's missed, I've been painting on these models, and I want to include all those little special bits, all of those variations on a theme I'm always going on about. In conclusion, 2026 is all about moving different. And part of moving differently is moving intelligently. I think creating a test model was very, very useful, as well as feeding your imagination, examining artwork, recalling from past projects. You know, luckily I have experience in this area, but it's never too late to start. Maybe a video like this can help inform your decisions or the choice to begin. So, let me know how you feel in the comment section down below, and until we meet again, my friends, remain unchained.